Hello everyone, this is one of those stories that has to do something with one of my last videos where I talked about the promoter, Kingpin. And in one of those first segments of the video, I talked about the UFC. And now it seems kind of funny that I'm talking about someone from there in this video again. I'm sure most of you already know about the popular CEO of the UFC, Dana White, who's basically become like one of the main faces of the company. In terms of CEOs in fight competitions, there really is nobody on the same level as him in terms of like his personality and mannerisms. The closest person I could think of them being like him is Vince McMahon from WWE, who is loved by the fans because he actually had actual fights with other wrestlers. Back in the prime of WWE, this was like mind-blowing to see because everyone had like a perception of CEOs mainly like working behind the scenes and not really like appearing in public. This is because they normally have someone else who's like the face of the company, who's more charismatic and has like a fan base. But with Vince, this was the only time when like an actual CEO took part of the competition that they owned, which is why it was so exciting to see him like actually take part in the fights. Of course, he played up his excitement to make it seem like he has more energy, but I think that's more commendable. Most CEOs probably wouldn't have the same amount of energy as he does if that should be like a wrestling match, but with him, he actually looked like he wanted to be a part of it. I think this is a lot where a lot of people were sad when he retired, since he was like one of the most memorable fighters in competition, and it was more heartbreaking seeing him like step down as CEO. The hierarchy of a company is always shifting, with new people coming in replacing like old people. But if someone is loved as much as Vince, it really was hard to like not be sad about him leaving. And the reason why I bring him up is because it does like remind me a bit of Dana White in terms of how they like interact with the competition that they own. However, they are completely different because like with UFC's like more violent nature, it's understandable to not see Dana White like walk into the octagon and have an actual fight. But regardless of that, he's still like well known for like how loud he is and how he acts with like other big fighters. He's always been well known for like setting up big fights that everyone talks about that is so big like it's nearly impossible to ignore, which is why some people talk about it. These are the ones that make a lot of money and the people talk about the most because like people have been discussing about this fight being potential in the future, or because people really want to see like two rivals duke it out in a fight. I mean, the amount of people like tuning in to watch the fight, which is why Dana always tries to like set up these kind of matches all the time. He's even become well known for like his ambition to like make as much money as possible, with it like extending like outside the UFC, with him being a pretty huge gambler. There are a lot of stories of him like gambling like an unimaginable amount of money and then like somehow winning it back. But right now, I want to talk about this recent story where someone tried to like break into one of his houses in the state of Maine. And the reason why he knew about this is because he got like footage of like of the door cam he had installed. And to be honest, this is one of the most bizarre like door cam videos I've ever seen. It starts so suddenly and like it ends so fast, with the clip only being like 10 seconds long. Most people who try to break into a house come like way more prepared than this, because this guy didn't even like bring a mask or a tool to like help break down the door. Most people would say like this was a failed robbery, but with like how much of a mess it was, I don't really believe it was at all. The closest thing I could see this being is a prank, because maybe the person like dislikes Dana and they want to like take some revenge on him in some like shape or form. The reason why I believe like this is the case is like how quickly he gives up, even after he presses the door cam. And I know that most cameras are like motion activated, but I like to imagine like the sole reason why he was recorded is because he pressed the button which caused it to like start recording him. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like trying to steal some stuff from the house, because with how rich Dana White is, with having like a $500 million net worth, it would be normal to expect him to have some like valuable stuff in his house. As well as the fact like he has multiple houses all over the country, so the guy in the video probably expected him to like not be at the house, which he saw as a chance with nobody being inside so he could break in. But either way, even if Dana was at the house or not, it didn't matter because he didn't break through the door. But he did however get a video of him trying to, that he then saved and posted on his Instagram story. The main part that caught everyone's attention was the part where he said like he was gonna give like $2,500 to whoever helped found the guy first and help the police. Now of course, with how easily you can see his face, it's not really that hard of a task, to the point like anybody could really do it. But when I first read that he was only gonna give like $2,500, it did feel a bit stingy, especially when some people have criticized him for like underpaying UFC fighters by a lot. But looking back at it now, it's so easy to see who it is that some people could easily find him and then tell the police for free, even if Dana like didn't offer any money. But regardless, the guy still got caught by the police in like an incredibly short amount of time. I kind of feel bad for the guy because there are other people who have done like worse crimes than him and have lived their entire life with no one knowing about it. But with him, he kicked the door for 10 seconds, ran away, and still got caught in less than 24 hours. Of course, at the end of the day, it was only natural that he was going to get arrested, especially when it's clear that he didn't plan it out at all and he just did it because he felt like it. As well as the fact like Dana White has 8 million followers on his Instagram account, and with a fan base that big, it's not really that hard to get like a group of people to help stop a crime. And in the next story he posted, he did thank everyone, and like he mentioned like some people did call the police to give some information they had, which to me is scary because I imagine the police station was probably like flooded with thousands of calls at the time. I also want to talk about the outcome of the money, because so far he hasn't mentioned if he paid the person who helped like catch the guy first. And to be honest, I don't know if he will, because I imagine like a lot of people really like called the police to help like catch the guy, so it's gonna be impossible to find the first person that actually gave like actual proper helpful information. But of course, with whoever called the police first was probably like a big fan of Dana White, so they just did it because they wanted to, and they don't really care about the money. In terms of the future, I'll probably talk about Dana White again, because most of you already know about like the Elon Musk and like Mark Zuckerberg fight, which without a doubt will bring a lot of attention to the UFC. So of course, it's only normal for him to like put so much effort behind this. And again, with this freak fight and his like robbery story, it just adds up to like all the history about him that makes him like really much of a character. But that's what I have to say. So hope you guys the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.